Right, good morning. My name is Helen Jennings. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator based here in the UK, and it is 9 o'clock on a Monday morning, so that must mean it's time to come on and do some creating with you all. Let's create a bit of a storm on this Monday morning. So, if you never joined us before, welcome. Do come on and say hello wherever you are in the world. Do leave us some comments. Do let us know that you are watching us and where you're watching us from. And indeed, even when you're watching us, because I'm very aware that not everybody watches as we go out live. So, hope you are all well. So, without further ado, let me flip my camera down and let's start doing a bit of creating. So this is me here. My little business is Love-a-Duckie, and you'll find me, Morning Jackie. You will find me at www.loveaduckie.co.uk, and you can search for me on Instagram, Pinterest, YouTube, Facebook, all of those places. Under the Love-a-Duckie title, that's where you'll find me. So let's move me to one side for a minute. And let's bring in this catalogue, because I don't think that we have played, morning Beryl, I don't think that we have played with the welcoming window set on a live. I've played with it, I've done a class with it, but I don't think we've played with it live, and if we have, I apologise, memory's not what it used to be, but we won't have done these cards even if we have. So the welcoming window bundle was actually available in the, or still is, just about hanging on in there, Morning Caroline, available in the mini catalogue, the January to June mini catalogue. But of course, we've not got very long of June left. Thursday is the 1st of July. So if there are still things that you want to get on those last chance offers, this obviously is carried over into the new catalogue, but if there are other things that you want to get on last chance offers, you are really on your last chance for your last chance. You've only got until Wednesday to get those in your basket, so do go and check those out. But welcoming windows is one that has carried over, and it has also carried over with its 10% bundle price, so you can still get it in the annual catalogue at its 10% bundle price. And there's a couple of pretty cards up there using that set, and you'll find, as always with the catalogues, if you flick to the back and find the bundle in this back section just here, you'll find another card created using that bundle. So there's always lots of lovely inspiration. The catalogue isn't just about buying goodies, it's also about inspiring you to use them, and of course you can then use those for other things as well, just changing out dies and stamps and all those sorts of things. So here in front of me we've got the stamp set and we've got the dies. So in the stamp set you get these plant pots, this lovely jug, you get these flowers and things that will go in them, you've got your window frames and your shutters and your little window sill there, and some lovely greetings, including a Mother's Day one, which obviously we are now past. Hi Glenda, lovely to see you joining us. Obviously Mother's Day has now passed wherever you are in the world, but you know, you might want to be getting ready for next Mother's Day, and that hope you have a wonderful, you could have hope you have a wonderful, and then use just day. You don't have to have a Mother's Day in there, you can still use that. This one's lovely, isn't it? Wishing our paths crossed a little more often. That's lovely, isn't it? So yeah, some nice greetings, lovely stamps, dies obviously that go with it. Some of them cut out those plant pots and those flowers. You've got some an embossed shutters there. You've got an embossed shelf. You've got the little brackets for your shutters. You've got a window frame there. You've got these pieces that are going to cut out these pieces in your stamp set, and there is a bit that cuts this out But that's another story. I'm sure I'm not the only person that has borrowers. I hope I'm not the only person that has little borrowers, little people that come into your craft room and make off with stamps and dies. Well, one such little creature has made off with my die, proof that I have had it, that cut this hole. And of course that die will also cut that stamp. It'll no doubt turn up somewhere strange and odd when I least expect it, but as yet it is still missing in action. But we will get by without it. Luckily, if I do need to cut this out, it's a very simple shape to cut out, isn't it? But it's very useful that I do have that bit. Right, I'm going to grab a piece of Whisper White card. Thought thick Whisper White over, not normal Whisper White. I'm going to cut myself a mat. I'm going to go 9.5 by 13.9. Once again, you hear the brain ticking in the background. And then I'm going to take this piece of card I've got with my hole in it, which is very useful that I have got it. And I'm going to lay it onto my piece of basic white. And I'm going to take a good old blending brush. And so I think I'm going to go balmy blue. And let's pick up some of that. I'm going to sponge in the gap. Now I really don't want to come over this side, so let me just bring in a bit of scrap paper there, just so that if it picks up ink anywhere, it's going to be on the scrap paper and not the card. Blend that in the background. Sorry that I'm wobbling you a little bit. And if we take that off, you can see that we have that little rectangle of soft blue sky. So let's come in with our dies. I'm going to die cut a little window like that. And then we're also going to have a play with some plant pots and things. So let me just die cut this window. And bring in my mini. Wobble, wobble, wobble. And here we have a little window popped out just there. All those little bits. I don't think we need those on this occasion. I'll pop there just in case. So we'll have our little window sit on top of our sponged rectangle just there. Just wondering if I want shutters on that. They are very cute. I think we should have some shutters. I'm going to keep them white. So this die doesn't only cut, it also embosses into the card. Such clever technology, isn't it? So hopefully you can pick up that lovely wood grain effect on those shutters. And let's, for good measure, while we've got the machine out, do a little white shelf as well. And I might actually going to stick with white, run through a set of the brackets. I'm on a funny angle, I'm doing it backwards. That's it. Just haven't got quite enough push to get it started. Quite often push it against my belly. There's enough of it. Right, there's our little shelf. And there we've got those 4 little white hinges. And they also have a little bit of embossing on them. Click, clunk. Right, so we have our shutters that are going to sit here, a little shelf that we're going to put underneath, and we've got our little brackets to go on there. So that's our window starting to build up quite nicely. Let's come in now and have a look at these little floral stamps. So there's a 2-step stamp going on here. We have 2 sets of foliage, 2 sets of flowers, and then you've got your little plant pots as well. So I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. I need some photopolymer stamp, so I'm going to need a mat in there. Let's bring this one in. Let's bring in some white card. It is raining. A bit of a grey old day here, so apologies if you pick up the sound of rain on the roof. Hopefully it won't get too torrential. Right, so I'm going to put those in first. Let's pick those up. It doesn't actually matter at this point because we haven't started stamping. I'm now going to anchor this this card down with my magnets. And I'm going to bring in my Stampin' White markers. We'll have a bit of a play. I've got my block and my stamp pad underneath there. That's holding that nice and straight. So apologies that we're going to be crinkling and scrunching through the I think this one, because I haven't got my head directly over the stamp set, over the stamp. I'm going to add in some Granny Apple Green. Have a good press. Oh, that we didn't want to happen. Going to come in with, let's come in with some Garden Green. To add in a bit more of a different tone just in places. Wind. Don't think we quite picked up on the top there enough. It's a bit better. So we've got a couple of greens going on there. Let's come in with this stamp. What else shall we bring in? A bit of hair pizzazz. Obviously, if you can see your stamp better, you can pick up where the different colours are. We've got here a bit of shaded spruce. Let's move that over. Give that a good press down. Hi Angie. And hi Debbie. Oh, you're not ever so late. Okay, so there we've got some multi-tonal greens on there. We've been able to let's try that again, shall we? Put our teeth in. We've been able to add in some different greens just by using our markers. I'm going to turn this round, put it back up that corner. Let's come in again and just do some more. This one mainly Granny Apple Green with a bit of Garden Green for good measure. Okay. And then this one, we have a bit more garden green, and then I think we had some pear pizzazz in there, didn't we? A bit of shaded spruce. Oh, wrong stamp, Helen. Let's take that one off of there, because otherwise that's going to it's going to stamp over the top. Let's try again, shall we? I did think that felt quite right. Let's put in some pear pizzazz. So this is sort of not very technical, or, but as I say, if you've actually got the stamp and you can look at it close up, you could make this a little bit more technical. So there we have some multi-tonal greens on all of those. I could just flip my plate over, but I'm not going to. I'm going to use the same plate because I've taken those other ones out. So now it's a question of lining up flowers. Making sure you've got the right one. Like, yeah, let's make sure we've got a right one in our right gaps. So that one will fit in there beautifully. And that one will fit in there beautifully. So let's pick those up. It's a good job we know where this is starting from, don't it? And let's come in and do the same sort of thing again. Let's add in some different colours. What we've got here, some Mango Melody. So let's add in a bit of Mango Melody. You're being very sticky, Mr. Photopolymer stamp. A little bit of Calypso Coral. What did we have? So we had that one, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Let's have that one there. This one here, I think. Let's see if we've got that right. Won't matter if we haven't. Yes. And then we've just got I've got here some crushed curry. Just going to do these little ones just here with some crushed curry. And then the other ones, let's have some gorgeous grape. Let's not do that. Let's do this one. We'll have some gorgeous grape on there. Petal pink. I wonder if that's going to be, that might not be pink enough. Flirty Flamingo, that's better, I think. We have the other 3 flowers. And Flirty Flamingo, very pretty. Let's swing that round and hopefully these should just about meet up. So I've got the Flirty Flamingo in my hand. Do that one. And then what did we have going on with this one? We had some Mango Melody, didn't we? Doesn't have to be exactly as the other one was. That one had wiggled a little bit, but it had wiggled a little bit before anyway. Let's come in with some Calypso Coral. But I think it's going to be quite forgiving. And then last but not least, I'll do some more crushed curry. So there we are. That one had wobbled a little bit. That one is probably much better. So now we have some multicoloured leaves and flowers using our stamping right markers direct to stamp. Those to one side for a minute. Let's bring in the dies that are going to cut these. I'll just run that through the big machine, save wobbling you. And say cutting down the card as well. Two. And there's a slightly wonky one, that other one. And obviously you can have these in your pots, but we'll have them, I think, just hanging over our shelf. These ones coming down here and that one there. We'll have like a beautiful blooming window box. What a blooming wonderful window box. Let's have this I do like this greeting that says wishing our paths. Crossed more often. Pick that up. I'm going to go, I think, might do that in black. Hi Julie. Pick that up. Just going to trim this round. Going to fetch a little bit of balmy blue card. And we'll cut that to 10 by 14.4. And then I've also got a piece of thick basic white here. I'll score and make a card base. Right, let's stick this all down in place. Let's build our window up. Slightly a little bit more glue there than I wanted. Let's take that off. And we'll stick that over our sponged sky. And to stick these down flat, I think. So there's one shutter one side of the window. And shutter the other. That does stick over slightly just there. But that's okay. Let's put our shelf in. I'll put our little hinge pieces in place. I've a lot of glue just there. And we've got our flowers. I'm going to have them so that these two pieces hang down like this, so that I will put a bit of blue on those. And then this other piece, and put some dimensionals on so it pops up. Now what we could have done, and we haven't, and I might risk it for a Swisket and try and go in and do retrospectively, is just add in a little bit of brickwork. So let's do that. Fingers crossed we get away with it. I'm going to come back in with balmy blue. I'll keep the colours fairly simple. Have some just there. And I'll have it just coming off the edge of the card. Just to take away the real stark white of that background. And we'll stick that on that blue mat. Let's bring in some white twine. I've got a couple of cards planned for today, or I have got a couple of cards planned today. This I thought was going to be my quick and easy one. I slightly overestimated that, didn't I? But we'll carry on and play anyway. If you're watching back, feel free to fast forward at any point. So let's just, we've done a double length of twine in there, and we'll just have this little greeting coming over the top, and bring in some mini dimensionals. Let's stick one in there. Just so that we know that they're sticking to the card and not just to the twine. And we'll put that onto our card base. We could have possibly put some dimensionals on that and giving it a bit more height. But there we go. So there's one little pretty card having lots of sort of flowers under the window in the flower box. So that's quite pretty. We move that to one side, and let's bring in my bits in my other card. So this one, I thought we would have a go at doing a Dutch barn fold card. So I have got all my instructions, and when I've done it in the past, I've always done it in imperial measurements. So I have hopefully converted them to metric. So I think let's go with the metric ones as I'm cutting it and make sure that I was right. So if you were going to do this with imperial cardstock, you were going to cut a 5-inch strip. I'm going to go with a 12.5 centimetre strip. We should hopefully end up with pretty well the same thing. And then I would cut it, if it was going to be metric, cut it to 11. I'm actually going to cut it to 20. Yeah, 29. I wonder if that would be better at 28. I'm actually going to cut that at 28. I'm going to change my mind. And scored at 18. What you then have is your card like this, with a bit of a top flap on it. I'll get my bone folder and give it a burnish. And I'm going to take my remaining piece of card, which is about 8.6. I'm going to leave it at 8.6. So whatever your remaining bit of card is, just leave that as it is. And I'm actually going to cut this to 25.2 centimetres, which if you were working on imperial cardstock, you would leave your strip as it was and cut it to 10 inches. And with this, you'd have scored it at 7 inches. So that will give you a 7x5 base. We've got an 18 by whatever the other way was, 12.5. So now I'm going to take this bit that I have cut to 25.2 and I'm going to score it at 6.3 and at 18.9. Now if you were doing this in imperial, you'd score it at 2.5 inches and 7.5 inches, and then that would leave you a piece that hopefully comes round, meets in the middle, it is the same width as your other piece of card. Let's put that there like that. Let's bring this in, and with a bit of luck that will come in there and fold round and meet up in the middle. Okay, like that. So you've got a piece here that is slightly longer than this piece here, and you want that to do that so that it will sit on there like that when it's opened up. It will sit like sort of that. We might have been better off actually leaving this with my original 19 centimeters. But that's fine. Let's go ahead and decorate our pieces. So we've got a bit of white inside. I've got some cinnamon cider here. So yeah, so if you were doing that, when I write the blog post up, I think I will leave that as yeah, as 29 centimeters. Yeah. Okay. Let's cut some panels for these bits. So this is now 10 centimeters by 12.5. So let's cut a piece that is 12 centimeters by, I said 10, didn't I? 9.5. And then we'll need some pieces for our side. So these are sort of 8.6-ish by, I've got grubby fingers and I'm getting marks everywhere, by 6.5. So let's make them 6 by 8.3. That bit's not quite big enough. And then I've got some brick paper. So I'm going to cut this so it is 9 centimeters by 11.5. Top panel. And 6 by 8.5, 8.3 that was, wasn't it? So we need it to be this way. So we'll go 5.5 by 7.8. And 5.5 by 7.8. Build these panels up. It's a lovely set, isn't it, Jackie? I enjoyed making the class. That's always a good sign for me. If I enjoy making a class up and they've enjoyed doing the projects, that's normally a good sign. Let's put these panels on here. So this paper is from the Bloom As You Grow set that's got all the plants and things in it. So obviously it's a really good set to use with your welcoming windows. You could have all sorts of different plants and things growing on your windowsills. Let's put these panels on here. Now you can stick these panels coming across the back, but I'm actually going to stick it coming across the front here, and then I will put a piece of card inside there as well. Because it is just the same width. We'll have it coming in there, and that will sit eventually like that. A piece of cinnamon cider and cut this to 12 by 17.5. Hopefully that will then sit in here. I think my trimmer needs some new blades in it. Getting a little fuzzy. Just going to take my scissors and cut off some of the fuzzy bits on the edge. Been working it too hard. that in there, and that's going to neaten up that inside piece, and then we'll have a piece of Whisper White in there as well. No, basic white. It's going to be 17 by 11.5, and that will sit in there, and that will make that all nice. But we might do some stamping on that, so I won't stick that in just yet. So let's do something to go on our brick walls just here. So we'll have a window and some shutters again. And I think this time we'll perhaps stamp ourselves a sill. And we'll also have some of these plant pots. So let's go white with the window. We're obviously going to need to do something behind our window so that it isn't just brick wall. You really don't want to just be looking out at brick wall. The little plant pots, we could stamp them and then die cut them, but I think we'll just for now die cut them out of a piece of cinnamon cider. And we'll have some of these down here. And put another couple of bigger ones. Move that out of the way. I'm going to grab just grab some of the In Good Taste paper. Let me just snip a little bit off of this corner. Sort of lined that up so the centre of that window goes down the centre point of that line where the tiles zigzag. And what I shall do is I shall use those centre pieces of this window to sit in here. So we've got, oh, no, that one comes across here. Something happening beyond the window, tiled kitchen or some sort. Take a piece of, this is just some of the in colour 6x6. That's about right. I'm going to trim it round in a minute. I'm going to fold that in half. And sort of cut a curtain type shape out of that, and then we can trim those. Do we want it to be and the little window pieces have just pinged? We'll gather those up in a minute. So we've got curtains coming behind that we'll trim in a minute. We've got our shutters. We've got our plant pots. Let's do some brackets for our windows. And I'll do those in cinnamon cider as well, keeping with that colour. And then you just want some flowers and things to go in our flower pots. And some of these things out of the way, give us a bit of room. Put these dies back. Oh, we were going to have a little thing, so I'll stamp one of those as well. So let me find cinnamon cider. And the stamp. Is my G block long enough? Yes, it is. So tap, tap, tap. We'll ink that up. So you do get sort of a stony effect with this. It's not a solid stamp. It does give you that sort of effect of a tonal effect on it. Let's cut that out. And then just going to come in with one tones on these. And let's have one lot of green, and we'll have that garden green, I think. And this one will have a little old olive. Still has to be one of my favourite greens of all time, old olive. I'll have a couple of those. Now there's a little stamp in here that fits perfectly round the corner of these blocks, of these plant pots. And let me just take that. And we'll come in with some mossy meadows, so quite a dark green, and ink that up. And it doesn't really matter whether you go that way or that way. Let's have that. About there. We will bring that plant pot back in so that it grows over the top. I'm going to stick that in place. Like that. And I'm going to come in a second time so it's sort of dangling over the edge of the pot. We'll do the same on the other side. Only this time we'll have it dangling down here. And again, let's bring it across so it dangles down the side. Then let's find our little flower stamps that are still in the Stamparatus. And let's go. We're going to have yellow of some sort. Let's have bumblebee and polished pink. So this is this one. Didn't quite. Let's do this other one. And then we'll swap out those stamps, bring in the other one. We'll do this one in polished pink. And just get it so that it's just looking at that thinking that's not the right stamp. That's exactly the one that I've just used, isn't it? So let's take that off of there. We need the other flower stamp. What have I done with the other flower stamp? It's still on the Stamparatus. Let's try once more with feeling. No wonder it wouldn't line up. Tell you can't get the staff, can you? There we are. So let's run those through the die machine. Just lining them up. There's two. And two more. Thank you, Ronnie. Right. Let's do some building, see if we can find all our little bits for inside windows and things. I'll put a few little dimensionals behind that one, I think. We'll have dimensionals behind these flowers. Seem to have lost some pots. So I'm going to pop a couple of dimensionals behind this pot. And we'll have the pot coming up and to put a dimensional on this bottom corner and one there, and that will hopefully hold that proud on the bottom there. Aha, here's my other pot. Wondering where that had gone. And let's have this pot down here. Again, let's bring those in on an angle. So we'll put one there, one there, so they're sort of tumbling over. Right, windows. And the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some glue and put some glue either side and position my curtains where I want them to be, because then I can trim them off like that. Now, one of the cards I did in the class, I used one of the scalloped dies and cut a scalloped piece of DSP to use as a blind, so sticking from the top section just here as a scalloped blind. Right, then we need to position our bits coming behind there. And if I run some more glue down the edge of my curtains, that will be enough to hold them in place. To start with, that's the other bit that's got a slidey bit at the top. That's the other top bit. That way. That way. Actually, that one's slightly longer now. Fiddly fiddly. And where's the last bit? Right, if you've got more time than me, which you no doubt would have if you're doing something like this, you'd be able to play with those and get those slightly better in position. Let's add some glue on the back of all of that window now. Stick that in place. Possibly not the best paper in the background, but you get the idea. You can have a play with something, or even just do it in a coloured piece of card, just to give yourself, so you're not looking out at a brick wall. Got very gluey fingers. I'm going to have to go in with my glue adhesive, my glue eraser in a minute, and take some of those gluey marks off. haven't had ink everywhere, glue everywhere. We've had a good get mucky fingers morning. Ah, there you are. We could have raised those up on dimensionals, the shutters. We'll bring the windowsill piece up. Do, do, do. That's my piece for inside. Where have I cut that? I cut that for something else. Silly woman. Let's get another bit. Was it 11.5 by 17? And I'm going to take this little short fat more haste, less speed. Let's turn that over. Try not to get any more ink on there. And I'll take this little greenery one. Just add some plant pots in that bottom corner. And I still managed to get a blob on there. Never mind. And I think we'll just perhaps put a greeting inside, sending sunshine for a beautiful birthday. And let's come in. With some cinnamon cider. I've lent on an ink pad, no wonder I've got ink everywhere. Just going to add in greenery in the corner just to hide my little blob somewhat. Right, so there we go. We have a curtains at the window, Dutch fold card, and then our other card was using all of those flowers on that white window frame with the blue sky peeping through. So I hope you've enjoyed those cards. Sorry that today was longer. As I say, I underestimated the amount of time it would take to do this little one, thinking I'd have more time to do a bigger one. Hey ho! As I say, if you're watching on replay, feel free to fast forward any bits. Watch me do it in speed. But it's lovely to have you join us. We will be back on Friday, if not before. There are special offers coming up starting on July the 1st, so do keep an eye out for those. And for anybody that is a demonstrator, we have already had sneaky peeks of the Christmas goodies and autumn goodies that are coming up in the next mini catalogue. So if you too are desperate to see those, talk to me about joining the team. But I will put the link up to you so you can go shopping for Welcoming Windows if you don't already have it in your stash. And have a really good week, and I will see you. In fact, I'm chatting away to you. See, I forget that I've got all this wonderful technology now. I do have when I remember. Look, I've lent on an ink pad. Is it any wonder I'm getting ink everywhere? What am I like? Okay, have a really lovely week, everybody. I hope the sun comes out as the week goes on. It's supposed to here, and that you're all well wherever you are in the world. And I will be back and see you all again very, very soon.